Your journey can only begin when the self-doubts stop. The first step is harnessing your bravery within. Believing in you is your host, Sean D. Morris.
Hello and good day to you all. My name is Sean, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to another Honorable Warrior episode on Bravery Within. You guys are amazing. You're fantastic. Thank you for continuing to listen to my podcast. You guys make it better and better. You're answering questions that I put out there. You are sending me questions, which is the great part about all of this. You're starting to communicate with me a lot more. And that's what today's episode is actually banked on, is I've actually had several emails. People have caught me, out and about and stuff there when they see me around town. And they were asking about being single and how I do it and why I've done it for so long. And I thought I kind of covered that through some of the other episodes. And I may have covered this a little bit in my introvert one. And I wasn't honestly quite sure where to really plunk this episode in. I mean, it really works between my introvert one, because that's who I am, is I'm an introvert, but it also works for my Honorable Warrior episodes too, because there's so many of us lone wolves out there that just never basically find anybody again, and it just kind of like, okay, I guess I'll put it as an Honorable Warrior one, because I want this to be very positive as much as I possibly can, so that way you guys enjoy it. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that feel the pressure of relationships, and they're supposed to be in one. So episode 9 is called Being Single and Loving It, and I just wanted to let you know right out of the shotgun, it's like, I love being single. It is really, really nice. And when I was drafting up my notes for this episode, I sat down and I tried to figure out why I liked it, some of the, the pros, the cons, and everything else that go along with being single. And I wanted to try to, keep it as very positive as I can, because I know there's a lot of guys out there that there's almost like a pressure that you're supposed to be in a relationship. You're supposed to be tied down with somebody. You're supposed to be pining for them, or you're supposed to be going to the bar and getting drinks thrown in your face or shot down 99 out of 100 times. It always seems to come down to us that we're supposed to initiate the relationships. We're supposed to be everything for everybody. It gets to be too much after a while. And I have been single for so long now that honestly, I probably have to get a book on how to date. And I kind of covered that with one of my other episodes here. I think that was episode 7, I think, is the dating with the old beliefs. And to be honest, I'm still completely lost with it. I'm not sure that I could jump back into the dating world, because it's like, holy guacamole, there's so much that's going on, and there's so much that has changed. And I haven't been in the dating world for over 3 decades, so let me tell you, there's a lot of changes that go on, and I hear it from other guys there when they're out there trying to, wrangle up a date or something like that, or go out and spend time with somebody, and they come back and tell me how much it's changed, and they haven't been out of the dating world all that long. I've been out of the dating world 3 decades, so it's like, okay, well, I'm pretty well overwhelmed on that one, and I'm probably not going to do very good jumping back into it. So I just stay single, and I love it. I don't feel the pressure. I don't let society say, well, you need to be in a relationship. You need to have somebody there that is always there for you, and you work for them, and then the relationship goes sour, so then you give up your house and your vehicle and your money and everything else. And I'm not going down that road again. I just absolutely refuse. I will never get married again. I don't really believe in the whole institution, but there's a lot of people do it, and that's fine. Hey, it's whatever you want to believe in, whatever you want to do, absolutely, just go ahead and do it. But to me, that's just not in the ballpark for me anymore. It's not in the cards, and I'm not going to go back down that road. But one thing that I think, one of the very first questions anybody asks me is, well, aren't you tired? Aren't you lonely? Aren't you tired of being alone? And when you break it down, alone and lonely are actually 2 different things. Once in a while, I'm not going to lie, the house is pretty quiet, even with little Willow, that's literally right beside my leg right now while I'm doing this podcast. Even with her here, it still gets, because there's something about, being able to curl up with somebody on the couch, or sit there and talk to them and just ask how their day went, or you get to know them on a very, very deep level. And if you're an introvert like me, you'll understand we prefer the deep conversations, not the, just the small talk. Small talk actually kind of grates on our nerves, and it really grates on my nerves, so I try to stay away from it. But if I've got a few minutes and I sit down and I want to talk to somebody, I want to get to know them on a very, very deep level. I want to know what makes them them. So yes, there are times that I am lonely. I'm not going to deny that one. But the one thing about it is there's normally somebody around that I can talk to or go hang out with, and it gets rid of the loneliness. But I went to the dictionary, and lonely means, right from the dictionary, cut off from others is one definition. Another definition of it is being without company. And another one that they got down here is not frequented by human beings. And that's what lonely basically is. I mean, if there's just absolutely nobody around and there's nobody there for you, and you're kind of like left out in the middle of the sea at night and all you have is the stars, that's lonely. I mean, for me, I probably enjoy it for a while, but after a while, and like me, I've been single now for a decade, and it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I don't mind the quiet and stuff. I love it. And I know I'm a lone wolf. I absolutely admit it. I like doing my own thing. I take care of my family. They always come first. My needs are always second to everybody else's, and that's just the way I was raised. But then you've got alone, and because you have lonely, and then you have alone. And the dictionary definition of alone is separated from others, or exclusive of anyone or anything else. And the other one that they've got there is considered without reference to any other. So alone and lonely are two different things. Alone means there's nobody else around you. Like there's many, many times. That's why I go up in the hills and I go up on the back trails and I go hiking and drive around exploring new places and everything there. That's alone. There's nobody around to talk to. There's nobody remote. Sometimes there ain't nobody for miles around me. That's alone. Lonely means you can be lonely and still have people around you. And I've been that way. I've been in relationships that way where you may be with somebody, but you're still lonely because you can't talk to them. You can't be with them. They're not interested in being intimate. They don't want to, whatever the reason is, you can be lonely and still be in a relationship. Alone just means there's absolutely nobody around you. And that's what I try to get people to understand is those are two completely different things. They're similar. Don't get me wrong. I guess they're probably similar, not so completely different, but they're when you break it down, they're two different meanings. So, and I always try to let them know that, yes, I'm alone, and I prefer to be alone. And like I said, that's why I wasn't sure whether I should put this under my introvert one or if I should put this under my honorable one. And I decided to do the honorable one because I get more men that are asking me, don't you feel the need to be in a relationship? Don't you feel the desire or the pressure to be in a relationship? Well, those are three separate questions, so let me answer them. Do I feel the pressure to be in a relationship? No, I don't feel that I need to bow down to society's standards, and the moment you get out of one relationship, within 0.3 seconds, you're supposed to be in another one. I don't believe in that, and I think it's very unhealthy. Do I wish that I was in a relationship? If it was with the right person and the right person come along and they respected my boundaries and respected who I am and didn't do anything to try to change me, they accepted me for who I am, then yes, I would consider it and probably would accept them. But, do I need to be in one? No, I don't need to be in a relationship. I can fully take care of myself. I pay my own bills, clean my own house, take care of everything around it there, take care of my family, take care of my puppy. I am completely self-sufficient. I don't need anybody around to validate my life. I mean, for a lack of better words, that's what some people, they need that validation saying, hey, you're a good person, or yep, you need me to do your laundry, or you need me to do the dishes or the cooking or the cleaning or whatever it is. I don't need anybody. That I have done that for many, many years, and I am more than capable, and I don't want somebody coming in to my life thinking that's what they need to do. That puts a different kind of strain or pressure on a relationship. And I'm not interested in that. The only thing I'm interested in basically is I want somebody to share my life with, where I can talk to. If I have a bad day, I can talk to them. Or we sit out on the deck and share a steak together. Or we just sit and talk while, they have coffee and I have hot chocolate, or my Mountain Dew, or something like that there, or you watch a movie together, or you go in the hills together and just go for a drive, or sit at a park and people watch and just get to know each other a little bit more. Just basically camaraderie is fine for me. Now, I know not everybody's like that. There's a lot of people that do want to be in a relationship. They do want to be tied down. They do want to be connected with somebody. And that's fantastic. That's absolutely, you go ahead and do you. But the question to me is why am I, do I mind being alone, and why have I been single for so long? So that's why I designed this whole episode. And I'm not trying to be self-centered here in any shape or form. I'm not trying to be conceited, talking about myself in this way. But for me, it's going to take somebody pretty special and pretty amazing before I'll consider allowing them into my life, because I've worked so hard to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. I've worked so hard to put money in the bank, put money in the savings account. My house is paid for. I've got a nice truck. I have a wonderful son that I get to share my life with, and he's part of so much of it there. And I have a wonderful puppy, and I have great friends and family. Something like that I'm very, very protective of, and that's why I think I like wolves so much, is the pack mentality. And somebody like me, even though I'm a lone wolf, I still protect my family. There isn't anything that I wouldn't do to make sure that they weren't okay. So I do all I can to try to make sure they're okay. But like I said, my needs are always secondary compared to whatever they need. But if that special person was to come along, that's fine. But I'm not on dating websites. I'm not going out to the grocery stores and hitting on somebody. I'm not doing the normal go to the bars or whatever. That's just not me. So if I was to run across somebody out in the world and somehow connected, then that would be fine. But I'm not going out of my way to try to find that person, and I don't feel the pressure to be in a relationship. I don't have to have that person to validate my life, saying, "Oh, you're wonderful," and "I couldn't live without you," and all the other stuff. The problem is, most of the time when you get into a relationship, in most of them that I've had, there's drama that goes along with them. And that's something that us introverts we have a hard time with, is drama, because we're very private, we're very closed off. We don't like talking about, we don't want ourselves and who we are and everything out in the world. We're just not that way. And that's kind of rolled over into my, regular life and stuff there, by saying I'm not, yes, I talk to you guys a lot about, what makes me me, why I do things a certain way, but there's still a lot of depth, and there's still a lot of things that if, we were to talk sitting on the couch or sitting on the deck, you're going to learn a lot more there too, because there's still a lot more depth to a person and to me that I don't talk about. But some of the reason, and I just don't want this to come across as being conceited, but some of they would ask me, well, why do you stay single then? Why do you, what makes you, why won't you find somebody? Why don't you want to settle down with somebody again? And some of the reasons that I was able to come up with, the reasons why I stay single, and one of them was already talked about, is I hate drama, and most relationships are drama. I just don't get into that. I can't do it anymore. Let's be honest. I'm almost 50. And like I've said many, many times in the past, there's more time behind me than there is in front of me. And I can't beg, borrow, or steal for more time on this earth. So my time is limited, and I want to spend as much good time with them as I can. I want to enjoy their presence. I want to enjoy their life. I want to enjoy who they are. I want to enjoy the bad jokes that are going to come across there. If we are close, I want to enjoy that closeness. I don't want to worry about everybody else. I just want to worry about us and make sure that it goes right. But another reason is, and like I said, this really crosses over with a lot with the introvert stuff. So you're going to hear a lot of commonalities with these here. But another reason I stay single is I don't want to spend every waking moment with that special person. Would I mind a special person? Absolutely. That would be fine if it all worked out and things were okay. But I don't believe in a relationship you need to spend 24/7, 365 together. It just, to me, that's just not healthy. You have your friends that you came into, before you met me, and you hung out with them in there. I have my friends and family that I hang out with, and that's the way I'd like to keep it. You still have to have time away from each other to grow, to have things to talk about when you come back together, So I don't want to spend every waking moment with you. I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you're an introvert out there, you're going, yep, I got you. I understand, Sean. I see where you're coming from. And not everybody understands that. And I've been in relationships like that where they think that the moment that you're not doing something, you have to be spending it with them. If you're not at work, boom, you got to be at home with them, or you got to be out doing something. Or if they go and they need to go put gas in the car, that you have to go with them. No, to me, that's just not healthy. You have to spend time with your own friends and your own family to do your own thing. It allows you to grow as a person, continue. I mean, you had friends before we got into a relationship. So to me, it needs to continue. You still need those healthy relationships. So I don't want to spend every waking moment with you. Another reason that I stay single is I've worked too hard to make my own life my own, and to get my own money and to get my home. I don't want to lose that over a relationship again, where I've already had to start over. Literally, in my lifetime, I've lost everything 3 times. I've had to start over 3 times. I'm really, really tired of it, and I'm tired of getting kicked when I'm down. And I don't want to go back through that again. And I know that may sound selfish, and I'm trying not to sound selfish here, not by, any way, shape, or form. But I've worked too hard to make my life my own. And I'm sorry if that conflicts with your thought processes or what you want out of your relationship or anything like that. And I deeply apologize, because I'm not trying to sound, confrontational or selfish or anything. But I've worked too hard to make my life my own. I'm happy with who I am. I mean, I've done a lot of soul searching, since my divorce, and my divorce was almost 13 years ago. I've done a lot of growing. I've done a lot of learning, and I don't want to go backwards. I want to share that knowledge and share who I am with somebody, but I'm not going to go out and change for the person either. You either accept me for who I am and how I am, because I'm going to do the exact same thing with you. I'm going to accept you for who you are and how you are, because apparently that's what I like about you. So why would I change that? I don't want to change that. I want you the way you are, because that's what makes you you. And unless you get somebody to unequivocally accept you for who you are, to me, it's just not, I just don't want to make that change. I'm very, very happy with who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I love helping people. I love talking with people, obviously, because I do a podcast. And I like doing that stuff. I love talking to you guys. Are my extended family. I love talking to you guys. I love being there for you. I love how you guys are getting with me and writing in comments and writing in questions. I love that stuff. It makes my day so much, and I don't want to give that up. And if that means I got to stay out of a relationship so I can keep that, then I'm perfectly fine with it. Because I can take care of myself. I mean, I literally went to the grocery store before doing my podcast to pick up supper. I can go do these things on my own. I'm okay by, doing things on my own. So another reason that I stay single is I enjoy doing what I want when I want to do it. And I know that, like I said, I'm trying not to come across as conceited. I really, 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 really trying not to do that. But there's just something wonderful about when you wake up in the morning and somebody sends you a message saying, hey, you want to go shoot the guns, or do you want to go for a drive, or would you like to go out for breakfast, or just anything like that. It's wonderful, because yeah, no problem. I'm very, very impulsive, and let's go do it. It's, I would rather much more be impulsive than to plan something out, because if you're an introvert and you know that, okay, well, let's see here, I made plans for 3 weeks in the future, and then the 3 weeks come, and you're supposed to meet these people at 6 o'clock at night for supper or whatever, you dread the whole time, that whole 3 weeks, you're just like, oh my God, I've got to go out in 3 weeks, and you have to mentally prepare for it. But for me, is if I can be impulsive, yeah, let's go grab breakfast, let's go, and then I don't dread it, and I seem to enjoy it more. I know it's weird, and you're probably going, Sean, you're not making any sense. If you're an introvert, you know where I'm coming from, because us introverts are all pretty much the same thing. We don't like really planning anything. Most of us don't like you just popping in, but for me, I am kind of more of the impulsive type. Let's just go do it. I would rather do it that way than to plan around it. Except I like our Friday nights. We do our poker nights. We love those. We've been doing them now for 10 years, I think, or something like that. I do love those, and I look forward to them. That means the world to me. I get to see my family, and we sit around and talk. So those are okay, but the rest of the time, I'd rather just be impulsive. And I just like doing what I want when I want. And that freedom, knowing that is wonderful. It would be hard to get, kind of like ratchet strapped down again, and buckled down again in a relationship. So another reason I stay single is if I want to lay around on the couch all day watching movies, then that's what I'm going to do. I don't want somebody nagging at me saying, oh, you should get out and rake the yard, or why don't you go out and mow the yard, or why don't you do this, or why don't you do that, or this isn't working, or whatever. Everything in my house is working, knock on wood. And I take care of everything. Everything's in place. And if I want to lay on the couch all day watching movies, then that's what I'm going to do. I don't need to sit there and worry about, am I upsetting my partner by doing that? And like I said, I'm trying not to sound selfish, and this one kind of sounds selfish. But as an introvert, we need time to recharge. That's just the way it comes down to. And if we don't get that recharge time, that quiet time, that downtime, then we're just not as effective, and we're not going to be that great of a partner. If you're in a relationship, we just need that downtime. And that's where this one, kind of comes in is we need basically just to kind of, okay, relax, settle down, breathe, all of that stuff. We need that. And that's one of the reasons why I stay single, because most people don't understand that. There's so many people, especially my extrovert friends and family out there. You guys are out there, and I know you listen to this, but you guys are, you're very impulsive. You got to go, 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 go constantly. From the moment your eyes pop open in the morning till you close them at night, you have to be moving. You have to be doing things. You have to be saying something. You have to be, and don't get me wrong, we need you in this world to kickstart us introverts, to get us off the couch and get us moving. But for the most part, you guys, you're so overwhelming for us. So that's why it's just easier for me to stay, because I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't want to hold anybody back in a relationship. I don't want them feeling that they're wasting their time with me. And I find that it's just easier to stay single, because then all I have to do is worry about me. I don't have to worry about, am I upsetting that person? Because that's the last thing that I want to do. I want them happy. I want them to enjoy life. I want to be there for them. And I don't want them to feel like they're wasting their time with me. And I'm afraid that if they see all this and they didn't know this going into the relationship, then they're not going to be happy. And I don't want them to. And I'll end a relationship right on the spot saying, okay, well, then if you're unhappy, boom, done. We're finished. I want you to be happy. Find somebody that you can be happy with, because I don't want to hold you back. And for me, instead of going through all of that heartbreak and drama, it's just easier to stay single. And that's another reason I stay single. One of the things that drove me the craziest the most is I hate the silent treatment or the cold shoulder for messing up. And most of the time, I didn't even know what I did. I absolutely hate that silent treatment. I hate that, when you walk past somebody and they ignore you. And you don't even know what you did wrong. You ask what you did wrong and you get that, well, you know what you did wrong. I hate that. And nothing shuts me down faster than that. And keep in mind that I'm the type that I don't need anybody around. I can take care of myself. So to have you in my life is optional. I mean, I can cut ties, done. You'd be surprised on how fast I can door slam somebody right out of my life. And I don't like doing that, because that's mean. And I don't want to go because if I'm with somebody, I want to build them up. I want to make them the best that they can. I want to be there for them. I want to spend time with them. I want them to know they're not on the back burner. They're the most important thing in my life. And I want to dedicate everything I have to making them happy. So, but the silent treatment that I got in my relationships and stuff, I just don't have it. I just don't have any place for it. I don't like it, and I'm not going back through that road, going down that road again. I'm not going through it. And if that means I got to stay single the rest of my life, then I stay single the rest of my life. It's not very nice, I know that, but what you're doing to me is not very nice either. So, I don't like playing that game. So I figure, okay, well, instead of being in a relationship and going through that and being tormented or tormenting somebody else, then I'm just not going to do it. I'd rather stay single and make sure that everything's okay. Then another reason I stay single is the mental game and the stress of a relationship makes it not worth it. There's so many people that play mind games. They play brain games with you. They're trying to manipulate you constantly. They're trying to get you to change into whatever they want. And I've never understood that. Is if you get with somebody and you make them a part of their life, why are you trying to change them? That has never made sense to me. You're always trying to, well, I mean, I can understand. Let's be honest. There's some guys out there, and I know this for a fact. They need a little bit of help in either the clothes area or taking care of things. There's no doubt about that one. There are some guys out there that do need it, but I'm talking about change of personality, hair, just anything like that. You're trying to change who they are and what makes them up. And I've never understood that when you get into a relationship like that, why do you instantly think you need to change them? I've never tried to change anybody that I've been in a relationship. I accept them for who they are because I figure that I like who they are. I want to be around who they are, and I don't want to change them. I don't want to take the time to try to, fix them, for a lack of better words. So I just, the mental game, the manipulation and everything else, I just don't get into it. I don't have time for it anymore. Like I said, I don't have a ton of time on this earth anymore. My time is limited. So I want to try to make the most of it in a good way. And I want to be there, and I want to make the other person enjoy the time that they're with me. I'm hoping that I can be the best person that I can for them and make things great for them. That's why you're in a relationship, last time I checked, is spend time together, help each other out, and get to know each other pretty well. Another reason I stay single, and this is a big one for me, is I'm not interested in having any more kids. I have one phenomenal son. There's no way that if I tried a second time, I could have anybody that good again. I would have a demon child, I'm sure. So I'm not interested in having any more kids, and that is a deal breaker with a lot of people saying, well, I want to start my own family. You do realize I'm 49 years old, and most kids are around for 20 years. That means I'd be 69, theoretically, if we started immediately to have a kid. I mean, good gravy, Gertrude. I mean, I'm not even sure I'm even going to make 69. I mean, that's a long ways up there. I'm not interested in starting over and having kids. Now, if you have kids in your own relationship, hey, I'm not opposed to that at all. I would love to get back into the school programs and going to their games or their concerts or whatever they get into. I would love to be there and support them. Absolutely, no problem whatsoever. But I'm not interested in making any more kids and starting over from scratch. That's just, no way. That's so, and I've had a couple people ask, what's my thoughts on it? As soon as I tell them that, boop, done. They run away. They said, well, I don't want to be with you. Fine. That's exactly why I'm glad you're asking. But that's a deal breaker for me. I'm not having any more kids. If you have your own, I absolutely. They're part of you. I accept them along with you, and I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not going to start my own family again. Like I said, I'm 49. I mean, it's like, holy smokes, I can barely take care of myself anymore, because there's so much going on, and I like who I am. I like the laid back lifestyle that I have. And kiddos, there's nothing laid back about kiddos. They are go, 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 go constantly. Not that it's a bad thing, that's what they're supposed to be. But honestly, I don't know if I keep up with them anymore. So that's another reason that I stay single. Another one that I do is I have my own goals in life that I want to fulfill. There are still things that I want to do. It's kind of like the last thing that I have is I have my own bucket list of things that I want to do. And I've gotten to start on the bucket list a little bit because I'm pushing time. But the checkbook says one thing, even though my desires say, wow, I really would like to go try this. And then the checkbook pops up and says, oh, no, you're not going to do that. But I have my own goals, and if I could find somebody, I hope my goals are close to the person that I would want to be in a relationship with. I mean, because what that does is then that just makes it better to build up each other. You can support each other, you can move forward, and there's a lot of commonalities there. So you're going to want to be around them more. You're going to want to be with them. You're not going to want to change them because you basically have the same goals. And I don't know if bucket lists ever really match up. But there's things that I want to go see. There's still things that I want to go do. And they're on my bucket list as well. And that's another thing that I'm afraid that is if I get into it and our goals and stuff that don't align, then I'm not going to realize those goals on my bucket list, and it's going to fall to the wayside. And I may end up resenting that person because I didn't get to do what I was hoping to do with my life. And I don't want that. I don't want to be hateful to that person. I don't want to be resentful. I don't want that at all. I want to truly treasure them. I want to build them up. I want to be there. I want to help them, support them, love them, everything. And I don't want to resent them because I might have felt that they held me back. So those are the biggest reasons that I stay single. And like I said, I'm not trying to come across as, conceited, self-absorbed, anything like that. I'm hoping and praying that you're understanding that, because I understand if you're listening to this and you're listening to those reasons, you're probably thinking, nope, Sean, you're doing the exact opposite of what you say you're doing. I'm not trying to be that way, but at least I'm honest with my partner that's going to be coming into the relationship saying, these are make or break deals for me. And, some of them I might be able to alter, but it's going to be really, really hard. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm an introvert. I'm closed off. I keep to myself. I want to do my own thing. I'm not interested in going to parties or going to bars or anything like that. And if that's still important in your life, then we're in trouble right out of the shotgun. And like I said, I don't want to hold you back. I've been through too much in my life. I've been through a few relationships. And there's a lot of resentment when things don't line up or you're just too opposite. I mean, I know opposites attract, don't get me wrong. I understand that, and it's a good thing because I think you have to have something separate from each other, because what that does is, where one person's stronger in, the other person might be weaker, so then that other person pulls them up. Well, it's vice versa. The other person might be good in one area and the other person might not be. So you help build each other up. And pull each other. And like I said, you extrovert family and friends out there, you help get us introverts moving. I mean, you kind of like, come here, and you put us under your arm and kind of help us along and say, okay, well, you got this. You guys are wonderful. We need you to help us, get off the couch and get moving. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good thing, because if I had just pure introvert friends, which most of them are, we're all just fine sitting on the couch talking and not doing a darn thing. But that doesn't lead to a very, very exciting life either. So you have to you need an extrovert friend to kind of pull you out of your shell and to go do things. So some of the things that I'm not interested in is fixing someone again. Every relationship it seems like I've been in, I've had to fix, helping them along, and there's always going to be some fixing that you're going to do. Don't get me wrong. There's always something you want to help them with to take that weight off their shoulders for everything they've went through, to make things easier and stuff there. But I've had relationships where that's all I've done is fix them, build them up, get them back on their feet, and then they leave me. And I'm not going back down that road again, because then I'm left empty and incomplete after trusting somebody, and I'm not going down that road anymore. I'm hoping to... I need them to come to the relationship basically with something to offer, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but I've had too many relationships also to where they really didn't. Okay, well, whatever you want to do, you make the decisions. I'll just sit around and you take care of everything and take care of me. And I don't want to go back through that again. I want somebody that's going to come to the relationship that has a job, has a car, has their own money, and they're fine. And can take care of themselves. So basically, I have my own money, I have my own car, my own home, and I can take care of myself. So I want somebody like that. So basically, I don't have to worry about, fixing somebody or it's hard to explain. And I'm doing my very, very best to explain it. But you have to come to the table with something. I mean, it's like, if you're at a war, two countries are at a war with each other, and you want to do a peace treaty, well, you both have to come to the table to offer something. And in relationship, I know it's kind of weird, it's kind of the same thing, is you got to be able to offer, something. I'm not saying, I'm not interested in your money, I'm not interested in your house, your car, or anything. I just want to know that you're self-sufficient, because then that means that you're more than likely going to be able to handle the relationship, because hopefully you're in the right state of mind and you've got your priorities figured out. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but to me that's kind of how I see it. And like I said, I'm not trying to sound conceited in any way, but I know I've talked to plenty of other guys out there, and they all say the same thing. These reasons that I have were almost word for word what we talked about in our conversations. And I get emails saying, is this wrong? This is what I'm expecting out of the relationship. This is what, and one of the biggest things that I tell them is don't lower your standards. And I know that sounds funny and that really sounds bad, but I don't want your partner to lower their standards either. Either I meet up to where you want me to be and maybe hopefully surpass them. So that way you don't feel like, oh, I'm wasting my time with this person. I don't want that, I don't want that at all. And I don't want to be that way either, because I want you to be able to come to the table with something. I want to come to the table with, this is what I've got to offer, this is the way I want to do things, and I want you to tell me the exact same thing. And that's the reason that I stay single, is because most of the time, if you don't measure up, or I don't measure up, well, we're not going to work. That's just the way it is. And I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want to waste your time. Not at all. I mean, like I said, you can't run to the grocery store and buy more time. Hi, I'd like to buy 6 more months of life. Well, you can't do that. It doesn't work. You don't get to buy 1 second more on this big blue globe. It just doesn't happen. So I don't want to waste that person's time. So to me, it's much easier just to stay single and not go down that road and expect something out of somebody that they can't provide. And for me, monetary does not really do much for me. I'll be honest. I'm not the type that, I don't want gifts all the time. I don't want somebody, doing all my cooking or doing all my laundry. In fact, the moment you start doing that, you're out the door. I mean, I'm completely self-sufficient. And yes, I am. I admit it. And my family's going to love this one. I am stubborn. This is just the way I am, and I'm not changing. And I don't want you to change at coming into this relationship. So that's. I know it's complicated, but I'd rather be honest with that person up front, because I don't want to hurt them. I don't want them wasting their time with me, because I don't want them to resent me or hate me. I want to be up front with them right away and tell them, okay, this is what I'm expecting out of the relationship. I'm hoping it's something that you can expect as well. So then to the next step, then they ask me, well, who are you interested in finding? What are some of the qualities that you're looking for? I said, okay, well, if we're going to go down this road, all right, this is something that, so I thought, okay, I'll write this into the episode too to try to help you guys out. And maybe, and after I've told them, who I'm kind of interested in finding, it aligned with who they're looking for as well. They say, well, I just thought that was too much. I thought I was just being a jerk about it, and I just was never going to find anybody. I said, one thing that I learned is these are the standards that I have. Now, granted, they're not, I'm not a 10 myself, let's be honest, on a chart. I'm maybe a 2 or a 3 at very best. I'm not looking for somebody that is a 9 or a 10 to date me that's a 2 or a 3. It just doesn't work that way. I want them to be happy. I want them to be proud with who they are. So that's why, and I've said many times, I hid behind my fat. I'm still losing. Like I said, I'm down about 240 pounds, and I'm still losing. And I literally, so I didn't get into a relationship to protect myself, I hid behind my fat. I figure if that's all people see, that's all they want to see, is they're going to see the fat me, and then they're not going to be interested in me, and then I don't have to worry about getting into a relationship. I can just keep right on and moving, and I don't have to worry about life. It's not the healthiest way of of thinking. It's probably not healthy at all. But that's all I knew. I was too terrified to get back into a relationship. Like I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 1 that I want to get back into a relationship. But I keep the option open because there might be somebody that comes along and piques my interest. I mean, it just may be the way it is. But the question that they asked me is, who am I interested in finding? So I thought, okay, well, I said, the very first thing that always catches my attention, and it makes me really sit up and pay attention, is, are they funny? Do they have a great sense of humor? I'll be very honest, I have a very, very dirty and dark sense of humor. Anybody that knows me knows that's exactly who I am. I have no problem, telling naughty jokes. And I want somebody that's like that. I don't want to have to worry about offending them or anything like that. I'm not going to go out and intentionally insult them or anything like that there. But there's a lot of jokes that we talk about, even on our Friday nights. They're pretty up there. And I need somebody that's going to have a great sense of humor. To me, that is probably more. I mean, everybody, they tell me, well, loyalty is number one. Okay, loyalty is good, and that's kind of expected. But to me, having a great sense of humor is more important. I'm not saying that I want somebody out there that's going to cheat on me every other minute. But to me, still, funny and a great sense of humor is huge to me. That's who I would like to have in my life, because I want to be able to, I'm the type, that's why I do dad jokes on my on my podcast at the end, because I love jokes. I love making people laugh. I love hearing them groan with my dad jokes, and I have plenty of dad jokes around. And that's what I like about them, because it lightens the mood. It makes them feel better. When you start laughing, it releases endorphins into your body, so you feel good. And that's who I want, somebody there, because I want to be able to. I'm the king of one-liners. I love just doing, and some of them are clean, some of them are dirty, some of them are really naughty. I mean, you just never know what you're going to get with me. Of course, you're not going to hear that, because I try to keep my podcast family friendly, so that way anybody can listen to the podcast. But if you know me on a personal level, you're going, Sean, we know exactly what you mean. So to me, funny and a great sense of humor is the very first thing that I look for in somebody. Another one that is kind of big to me, and I have to say, this one's probably a newer hope that they have this quality, is someone who doesn't care about the social norm. They don't care if they fit in or not. They're just wanting to be happy and spend time with me. And I mean, like I said, that's what a lot of this is the social norm says you have to be in a relationship. It's kind of like you have to have a house, you have to have a white picket fence, you have to have 2.5 kids, you have to have the garage, and you have to have a $100,000 a year job, and all this stuff. That's what the social norm basically says. Now, granted, is it outdated? Yes, it's an outdated social norm, I think. But somebody that goes against it, there's so much open-mindedness about people out there, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. The heart is a funny thing. Your mind can say, okay, yep, this is exactly who I want. You can have your beliefs, say you have to date this person, you have to be in this relationship, you have to have kids, whatever you were raised to believe in, you have to go by that. But to me, one thing that I've learned is the social norm changes on a whim. And every time that I read something on the internet, or I'm on a web page, or or YouTube, and watching and learning about people and what they want, is that social norm is different. Everybody's different, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's fantastic that everybody's different. Everybody gets to be themselves, and for the most part, a lot of people are accepted. I know we're still working on that. We're a very, very slow to change species. So, some of the more out there relationships and people, it's going to take time for the rest of society to catch up. But I think it's so awesome because they're being themselves. And I think that is so genuine and so wonderful. And that's one thing that I've learned is after my divorces, I had to figure out who I was. And let me tell you, I have done a lot of learning and a lot of changing in those years. And I'm proud of who I've become, and I'm proud of who I am. And I'm hoping to be able to share that with somebody someday. If nobody comes along, that's fine. I'm also not going to be hurted that I never got back into a relationship again. That's fine. It would be nice to have somebody to share my life with, but it's not a requirement. I like who I am, and I like what I do. And I think that really come around after my divorce. And I know that sounds funny, but I had to go back to the books and learn who Sean was. That wasn't an easy thing to do. I really had to do some deep soul searching and diving to learn who I was. I challenged a lot of my beliefs, almost all my beliefs. I have done a lot of challenging on in the past 3 years. Like I said, I've done a lot of changing. I've done a lot of weight loss. I have done a lot of mental work on myself. So I'm hoping, I'm not expecting somebody else to be that way. I want to be able to help somebody. If there's something I can do to make things easier, I want to be their part of it. But for me, caring about what the social norm is kind of a big thing for me anymore. It's like, I want you to be you. That's what attracted me to you, is you're different. It's fantastic. That's what I love about it. I love how people can be themselves. It's fantastic, and we're constantly growing as a species and accepting others. Yeah, like I said, it takes time to be able to do it, but we're getting there slowly but surely. Another one that for me is someone who doesn't like drama and doesn't bring it to the relationship. That's another another quality that I'm looking for in somebody that they're finding. And I've talked to a lot of guys out there through this, and I've got, like I said, I get emails and stuff, and that is a big thing for them too, is no drama, because there's so much work is so hard anymore. Life is so hard. The last thing you want to do is come home and either have a fight or have problems or anything like that, or just drama is just too much. It's very, very exhausting, and especially if you're an introvert, we only have like our social gas tank is very, very, it doesn't take much for us to run out. And once we're out, it's like, okay, we don't want to be around people anymore. And drama seems to run out our gas tank, our energy a lot faster. So I try to avoid that at all costs if I can. Someone that makes their own money and can support themselves, like I talked about earlier. That's, one of the things that interests me in somebody. And basically that just tells me that, hey, they've got their life in order and they're stable and they're good to go. Now, do we all have our life perfectly in order? Oh goodness, no. There's always things going on. No arguments there. But at least if you're going in the right direction, that's good enough for me. And I want to be able to help. I want to be able to take some of the load of the stress off of you and things that are bothering you and problems and make things easier for you. That's just who I am. I have big shoulders and I love to help people. That's a number one thing for me, and I do all I can to try to help folks. So, but those are, like I said, funny and great sense of humor is number one for me. If they're like that, then that's somebody that I would be interested in. And everybody has their own, but knowing what you want out of a relationship is a great thing, and I think it'll be helpful for you. But to me, I think probably one of the things that I had to learn right away, and I've worked very hard at it, is you must learn to enjoy the little things in life. I think that's huge, because I'm not a fancy person. I don't need a $500,000 house to live in. I don't need a $250,000 vehicle. I'm not interested in any way. I'm a very, very simple person, and I have very, very simple needs. And I've learned to enjoy the little things. I enjoy when you walk down the road and you see a pretty flower, or you enjoy the breeze that's blowing across you, or you sit out on the deck and you listen to it rain while it hits on the awning. You enjoy those little things, because those are basically what help pull you through and makes life worth living. I like being able to pursue my own hobbies, writing my own books. I love doing my podcasts, talking to you guys. You guys are wonderful to take the time to listen to me, to include me in your life for an hour while you're listening to my podcast. I like spending time with my son and my family and Willow. Those are all the little things that mean the most to me. And most of them come where you don't have to spend any money, which is the greatest thing. And if you're like me, you live paycheck to paycheck, you don't have any extra money, so you have to make your happiness where you can. And to me, that's what I do. I just absolutely love it. So these are all reasons that I stay single. I don't know if it makes any sense to you guys. I don't know I don't know if it's going to help anybody out there, but those are the reasons why I stay single. I'm hoping that this makes sense. I'm hoping that maybe it might open your mind up a little bit to seeing things a little bit differently. I don't know. But I just know that I wouldn't be happy if I sacrificed, what I want out of life, my standards. Life is just too short. And if I have to be single the rest of my life so I don't hurt anybody because of what I expect out of a relationship or out of a person, they don't fall within that. I would rather not get into a relationship with them to protect them from me, because this is what I'm expecting out of it, and this is what I'm hoping for out of it. And yes, I may pass up on a good person to be in a relationship with, but that's on me. That's not. I just don't want the other person to be miserable and unhappy in a relationship, because there's so much tough stuff out in the world anymore. The last thing that we need is to come home and be unhappy and miserable with somebody that you don't want to be with. So to me, that just makes things easier to stay single. I don't know if this has made sense. And like I said, this is from a view of, I'm a lone wolf. I do my own thing. I go my own way. But I make sure that my family's taken care of. My house is taken care of first. Willow's taken care of first. I mean, everybody else's needs comes first, and mine's comes second. Now, I know that's not the healthiest way of doing things, but that's the only way that I know how to take care of my family, and that's the way I'm going to be probably until they, put me in the ground. So hopefully that answers the questions for you. Thank you for writing in. You guys are amazing for writing in and telling me, what you want to hear, what you want me to talk about. And this episode is basically all about the questions that I have been receiving from you guys about why do I stay single? And just so you know, I love it. I love being single. And like I said, someday I'm sure somebody's going to come along and sweep me off my feet. No doubt about it. If they don't, I'm okay with that too. I have my life set up the way I want it. It's going the way I want to. And like I said, I've had to start over 3 times. So I'm a survivor. I try not to be a victim. I'm a survivor. I keep moving forward. and I'm not going to give up. I'll find a way to persevere through and make things, the best that I absolutely can. They may not be the best for anybody else. They may not be happy with it, but to me, hey, it's my home, my life. This is the best that I can do. And if I can share it with you, hey, I'm all for it. So, okay, I'm going to end the podcast there. Hopefully I haven't bored you guys to death for for the podcast. Hopefully you can take away something from today and integrate it into your life. Maybe it'll make you see things from a different viewpoint. If you get a minute, I really would appreciate it if you like, subscribe, share, comment on the pages. Let me know. You guys are doing a fantastic job getting with me and asking me questions. That means the world to me. It means that you guys want to be part of the podcast, and I can't thank you enough for making me feel important that way and welcoming me into your life for an hour by listening to my podcast. That means the world to me. I mean, I can't stress that enough. You guys are amazing. So if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel, that way you get all the updates. You can go onto my Facebook page and like that one there. I try to keep a lot of updates on there for you, so that way you know what's coming up. Or when I get back into my weight loss episodes again next year for season 2, I try to put up all the new upcoming podcasts and stuff there for that. But it just helps move me up in the algorithm so we can make our family a little bit bigger and we can help more people. And that's all I'm trying to do here is try to help folks and maybe make things a little bit easier for you. Okay, to end the podcast, guess what? It's going to be the dad joke of the day, just as always, because I know you guys like to roll your eyes and groan over my dad jokes because they just do nothing but get better and better. So if you're ready to go, here's the dad joke of the day. Did you hear about the ship that was carrying red paint colliding with a ship carrying blue paint out at sea? Both crews were marooned. I know that's a long one, but I loved that one there. It's like, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, red paint, blue paint. Yeah, they make maroons. I love it. Thanks so much for listening. You guys are amazing. Thanks for including me. Make sure you share, you subscribe, comments. I love hearing from you guys, as always. And I cannot wait to get on to the next episode and talk to you guys again. So, all right, as always, all my love and support.